Whenever I discuss this every single day, whenever I get done speaking with you, I always think to myself, well, you didn't do a very good job. You didn't explain anything. They don't understand anything. They're not, and not that you don't know, but it's like I failed. I didn't explain this. I didn't put this into words. I'm not doing a good job. Nobody is doing a good job. Nobody is explaining what is actually happening here. Nobody is able to break down the particular words and the particular aspects of this and to break it down to say, for you, the American citizen, what am I supposed to do? We're being sidetracked and I think obscured and distracted by a variety of issues that have nothing to do with anything. Nothing. We're talking about looks and laughs and whether his son cried too much and whether, we're very, very, what does she look like and what did he say? And some of it's interesting. Some of it's interesting. But the question you're asking, you should be asking, is let me ask it for you. Can she win? Absolutely. Is there a possibility that this person who never won a primary, could she possibly, could she win? The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. And when you tell that to people, they think that, oh, come on, you're saying this as though there's this internal regulator, that there's this internal sense of right and wrong that will kick in, that will, how do I say this, that will override this. That there's no way somebody like this could, be president. That no. Somehow the safety, the circuit breakers will kick in. Something will correct this. This can't be. This can't be. And you think this, that if we mock her enough and laugh at her enough and make fun of her enough and watch Fox News and all these people trying to get you to watch their particular platform, that once this takes place, we will be able to win decisively, that common sense will prevail. This is what people think. This is what people think. They're kind of laughing at this. And we're talking about every single, if I hear one more time, Victor Davis Hanson talk about Perseus and the Peloponnesian Wars and how Rome, it's like, what are we talking about? What is this? I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. We are in an election. First and foremost, one issue, 75 days away. That's it. 75 days away. 75 days. And I cannot tell you the number of people I talk to who don't understand about elections. It's not about who's better, who's smarter, who's dumb. Nothing. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with it. It's about who understands this process better. How does this process work? How does it work? How does it actually work? Forget it doesn't matter who the actual candidates are. How does it work? What are we looking for? What are we trying to say? For the good friend Sean from Cary. Oh, God bless you. How does this work? I got to tell you something. I want to start again And I'm going to start with an apology. An apology where I don't mean to say this, but I will. I love the way the system works in this country. And I never really understand, I will never understand how we have never taught people the idea of the electoral college, the electoral system, and the electoral votes and weighted votes and the process of elections, the actual process of how the elections work. When it comes to sports, we know that hands down. We know about brackets, the final four. We know about how to bet, the line, over and under. I'll take Dallas and 3. We know everything. We know how it works. Intuitively, we know how things work. But when it comes to elections and the process of elections, we have this idea that recently I was looking at some local elections in my own town, Florida. Local, and God, local elections must be great, would be just so easy to rig. But because I always want to figure, how do you rig this? How do you rig this? How? How does that work? I told you before, I love magic. I love not watching magic. I love when the person says, this is how I did it. I put scotch tape so that when I put the needle through, I have a knife that's bent. I have a sleight of hand. I turn the camera this way. I had 2 women come in. I mean, when it comes down to explaining how the magic works, it's brilliant. It is beyond brilliant. And all I want are 7 states. 7 states, 15 counties. Do you gather that? 7 states, 15 counties. You want to worry about all the rest? That's all I'm working at. 7 states. And when I mean the state, I don't mean every place, up and down, all over. I don't mean saturating. I don't want everybody to love my person. 7 states, 15 counties. 7 states. 15, 16 counties. That's it. That's all I care about. That's all I'm interested in. You can take all these conventions, you can take all this stuff. Give me the numbers. I know exactly what's going on. Go enjoy yourself. Talk about whatever you want. You can have Obama. I don't care about that. Give me these states right here. That's it. That focus. Everything else is squared away. You've got Paxton, the AG of Texas, who is indicting voting mills and the actual process of it. And you can worry about votes all you want. You can worry about votes. You can sit there and you can say, well, I don't care about machines. I don't want to get near a machine. I don't know anything about Dominion or Smart Man. I don't know anything about that. I have no beef with them. None of it. What I want to know are ballots, paper ballots. Brad says, what do you think about RFK and Musk endorsement? If that is an excellent, of course it is good. It is great. Bradley, how does it affect the 7 states and the 15 counties? I don't care what that means. It's good. How does it affect the vote and where? If all of those, let's say all of those folks were in Texas and they're going to vote for Trump anyway, or if they're in California and they're not going to be enough, what difference does it make? I mean, it's good. It's great. I like that. We've never had this weighted. How do we say this, Brad? And I appreciate you bringing that up. And by the way, your great pieces on Middle East are also terrific. We've never had an idea. Explain this to me. Have you ever seen anything where it doesn't matter who gets the most votes? It doesn't matter. Have you ever heard of a race where whoever comes in first doesn't make any difference? We're always trying to change everything. DEI changed that. DEI changed that drastically. Diversity, equity, inclusion. It's a nice way of saying we're going to rig it. We're going to rig this. We're going to fix it so that we end up with a certain percentage of Black or African American or Indian or gay or whatever people there. I've never heard anything like that. We're going to rig this. We're going to fix it, and we're going to call it inclusion. Whatever that means. We're going to give it a name nobody understands. We're going to rig this system for all it's worth. You dig what I'm saying? We're going to rig it. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever said. The most incredible thing. It's counterintuitive. It doesn't matter. I don't know if there's any other, I don't know this. If there's any other country that has this weird electoral thing where certain states mean nothing. You want to win the popular vote in Delaware? Go ahead. Nobody cares. And the whole idea about the electoral college system is that every state matters. No, they don't. Little states don't. You only need 11 states to win the whole thing. So I appreciate that. And I love that. But if it does not affect, how does this affect the bottom line? There's two things that need to be done: getting the vote out and protecting the vote, protecting the ballots, protecting it, protecting the system. I'm telling you how it's done. I'm telling you how the scam works. I'm telling you how this thing. That's all I care about. I don't care anything. This is the election. The election. Yeah, and they are so good and so smart. And so the people who run the Democratic Party, I mean, listen to me, they are absolutely they are gangster. Absolute gangster. They don't understand it. One of the things which organized crime did, specifically the Italians, the Sicilians, to be honest with you, is that they figured out how to make this organized. Freedom says, by the way, I doubt you will agree with me, but this Harris will win by massive cheating, much worse than Joe Biden rigging the 2020 election, Trump, or we're done as a country. Could be. Freedom, thank you for that. We don't know this. We don't know this. We don't know this. I'm not trying to be to be kind of wishy-washy about this. We don't know this. Have you heard the story about the Shroud of Turin? They say it dates it to about 2,000 years. Is this the Shroud of Jesus? I don't know. But it sure does change the parameters of the age. Doesn't that mean something? If all this is true, yeah. But I don't know. I have no problem with saying, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You tell me one certainty. One certainty. I'm going to give you a very weird, here's my Trump coin, by the way. Feel that sound? I'm going to tell you something that sounds really weird, and I want you to think about this. Everybody knows that cancer is prolific. Everybody knows that cancer is a problem. Everybody knows cancer is cancer. Smoking and asbestos, isn't this good? If you had 5 people that said, who can get cancer first? Now, hear me out. I know this sounds weird, but ask yourself this question. How do you get cancer? How do I get it? I want you to get it. The first person who gets cancer wins. I know it sounds stupid. It's terrible. You can say, I'm going to smoke 5 packs a day. Do you have cancer yet? Nope. You don't get it yet. You don't have it. You got emphysema. You don't have cancer. What about you? How do you get pancreatic cancer? How do you get thyroid cancer? How do you get colon cancer? How do you get it? Everybody's got it. I want you to get it. Say, I don't know. I can increase the probability. No, I want you to get it. What do you breathe asbestos? I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that what you think, what you feel, where you're going, and reality are two different things. I don't know if anybody's going to do something. And what you're doing, Freedom, is like just like trying to catch cancer. Try to predict. Is she going to cheat? What is cheating? What is it? What does this mean? I will tell you specifically the thing which is the easiest. I don't want to pull Occam's razor on you. I hate when people say that. But I want you to think about this. The easiest thing for me are ballots, paper ballots. Easiest. That's where I put my money on. That's easy. Why? It's mechanical. Give me something mechanical, like magic. I'd much rather have a fake thumb. I can put, the powder in it, doing this, stick my thumb, and go, oh, it's all gone. When you don't see it on my thumb. That's what I want. I want really simple mechanical stuff. I don't want to go into hacked servers. I'm not into that stuff. Give me paper. Give me somebody just give me somebody at a supervisor of elections or a precinct. What do? I count absentee ballots. Great. What do? It comes in. I open it. I look at it. Maybe I scan it. Okay. I put the result in. That's it. I'm not on the. You're not in on it. So you just mark these down. Yes. Do I have a list of where are these things going? How many people on the well? They know. Secretary of State office knows. They know. How many people getting this? In Forsyth County, in Hillsborough County, Manatee County, in Polk County, how many actual absentee people are on the rolls? How many? How many? Let's say 100,000. I don't know if that's true. If that's even right. Let's just say 100,000. Who are those people? I don't know. They're on the list. Are they still voting? Do you ever go back and purge them? I hope they do. I hope they do. Do you just because remember something, when you vote, somebody has got to show up and be you. You can walk in and say, give me a favor. Go in and tell them you're me, and you're going to get one vote. Ta-da! That's it. That's not going to work. That's not going to do any good. I need more people. I need more people voting for me. I need more people coming in, either showing up the day of election for provisional elections. That's my favorite. Who am I? I don't have an ID. I don't have this. It's a provisional ballot. Well, I'll tell you what we do. You go ahead and vote, and we'll put them over here in the provisional ballot. That means we're provided we can verify it, provided it's okay, provided we can validate it, provided. What is this one? Well, that's a Trump vote, and that's a Kamala vote. Okay. Do I know who's who? Is there a way? I want to know specifically. How do I know? I don't know. Do you know that in the old days, do you know? Forget reading this or who it was, but they had letters or envelopes where you could put in a ballot, and depending upon how you folded it, they could look at it right away and say, Trump, Kamala, Trump. I forget how they did it, but you don't even have to open it. You can just look at it by the way, I don't know how, the X or whatever it was, and they just threw them away. That's what I want to go for. I want to go for this simple thing. You're not going to find anybody involved. Kamala is not involved. Timmy's not involved. He said, I don't know anything about this. But the thing I want to know is all these ballots. Where are they coming in from? How many out there? Have you checked each of these addresses? It's just an address. They're mailed out. You got to mail the ballot out for you to get it and mail it back in again. That's how you get it. You just don't pick one up. I hope not. That would be good. Yeah, can I pick up a ballot? Sure, okay. Can I pick one up? Yeah, okay, fine. And then you keep sending it in and sending. This is what I want to talk about. Xander says, Uncle L, just like death and taxes are certain, it's definitely sure that there will be some dead folks voting, or as much or more than 2020. The Dems are scared. Of course they're scared. And I would venture to say that maybe there's some dead folks voting for us. I remember here in Hillsborough County and Tampon, I remember that, Xander, where we had people in nursing homes. And there was one case of a person, I think, who was in a coma, who was actually voting in a coma. or she was in a coma, but nobody knew. But the point is, somehow they did it. I don't know. This has been going on forever. But if all of a sudden you've got these ballots all over the place, and I get them, I say, guess what? They're all coming to my place. 4,000 ballots, nobody knows. That's ridiculous. Maybe 400 are going to a Best Buy. What? Yeah. I gotta intercept them. I can do that. Or a house, or an apartment building with no numbers lifted. They just show up, undeliverable. Give me the guy at the post office. Are you in charge of that? My cousin is. He's got all the undeliverables. You want these? So you've got ballots. I got 400 ballots right here. 400 here, 200 here, 300 here. It adds up all over the place. And I fill them in, and I mail them in. And some poor guy at the precinct just scans them and says, it's okay. And Charlie Kirk can have all the people he wants watching. That's the part. That's it. Guess what happens when you bring that up to people? Oh, come on. You and your conspiracy theories. That's when you know you're right. That's when you know I'm onto something here. You and your conspiracy theories. My God, you just never stop, do you? You never stop. You just say the same thing over and over again. And it never stops with you. Everything you do, everything is some awful, terrible, horrible group of people, some cabal, some cadre, that's exactly what you do. And you're always told, you're crazy, you're nuts, right? This is what they tell you. I know this. You always tell, when somebody's spot on, you say, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. That is as much as saying, absolutely, I'm 100% correct. Okay, so that's it for a matter. So that's the mechanics of voting, okay? That's the mechanics of voting. Okay, now, we get into another problem, which is really difficult. The mechanics of voting are one thing. I can work with this a little bit. But then I want to talk to people who understand, do you know what's going on in the world? There's one thing, and one thing that I know for sure. Donald Trump may not be the greatest, whatever you want. And I'm not going to argue against whatever your thoughts are. But I will tell you this. Donald Trump is going to make up his mind. You are not going to walk in and tell Donald Trump, you're going to do this. You are not going to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to look at this right now. I want you to get your little map, your little globe, and I want you to look right around the back. And I'm going to throw something out to you, okay? I'm going to throw something out. What do you think will happen if one day Israel decides to attack or to invade or attack, whatever, Lebanon in order to get Hezbollah? I mean, really, really unleashes. And what happens if Iran gets involved in this? And what happens? You ready for this? I'm going to say something to you, and you're going to freak out when I tell you this. What happens if Israel decides to use a tactical nuclear weapon against Iran to say, "See, we told you"? Is that out of the ordinary? Freedom says, my biggest worry is losing my Social Security if this nutcase wins. She wants to spend taxpayer money like a drunken sailor until it's run dry. That's a very good concern. However, I promise you that you will not have, at any time soon, Social Security from these people ever cut off. It may not be paid for. They may go on to some federal reserve, open the account, pay you in some form of dollars that, I don't know, but you're going to get paid. Oh, absolutely. They will make it up. COVID pay, COVID money. Oh, you're going to get it. Social Security, as you would say, from the socialists? No, don't worry about that. Because that would be a riot. You don't know. You don't know. America has the ability to get very crazy, but it's not for something ideological. It's for something very, very popular. Kevin says post 2000 people should know every ballot matters. You would think so, but Kevin, people are saying, "Oh, I'm going to vote for. I'm not." Let me ask you a question, Kevin. What I just told you, and also you too, my dear friend, to freedom. Thank you. What if I told you? What if I told you specifically? What if I said, and this is important, what if I said to you that how do I say this? What if I told you that the biggest issue, or let me rephrase it. What if I gave you the situation of Israel deciding to attack a tactical nuclear weapon? Not Russia, but something small enough. You've got Israel and Sisi, you've got Abdallah, you've got all these people freaking out. The Middle East ready to flip. And if they decide, you know what, screw this, we are turning our back on Israel. Whoa. What do you think she's going to do? That's not the question. The issue is who is going to be telling her what to do, because she will sign any document, anything that she is told to sign. So the reason why you don't want her in one particular reason is because you don't know what you're going to get. You see, Americans have this thing, and I got to say this in a very nice way. Americans have this hubris. They have this hubris. Let me give you an example. I mentioned to you this before, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. A great, great, great sponsor is My Patriot Supply. I've told you this, right? It's preparewithlionel.com. There's something that's weird about people when they say, "Oh, I don't need that." What? I don't need it. I don't. No. And I said, "Do you understand that you might need emergency food?" No, not this country. No, everything's always open. Everything's available. No. And when you say, and by the way, just go to preparewithlionel.com. Check out. Look and see what they've got. They've got a $300 savings on a 3-month food. Just go and look. There's a little video there. You just watch this. If this doesn't get your attention, nothing will. Okay. And I bring this up to people. And immediately people will fight you. Oh, there you go again. Say they just love to say you're crazy. They always love to say you're crazy. You don't know anything. You're a nut. You're a loon. This is the greatest country in the world. We don't have to worry about this stuff. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand what we think about. What is she going to do if all of a sudden Bibi Netanyahu opens up on Iran and we say, okay, let's go. It's time. What are we going to do? Most Americans, when you ask them, left and right, will say, or you'll see people say, well, Israel's an ally of ours. We love Israel. Whatever Israel. How many billions have we spent so far? Whatever. It's the weirdest thing. Americans don't get upset about anything. Nothing scares them. I'm seeing more and more people wearing masks, even after Fauci himself said, look, they don't stop anything. They don't, no. But yet people say, well, I'm wearing a mask, because you worry about that, but you don't worry about this. Crime. What do you think she's going to do about crime? Now, they made her out to be, in the titular sense, this prosecutor. They made it so that she was a prosecutor, even though the full faith and credit of her prosecutions went after black men. She went after black women who were truants. She went after women whose kids, many of them black women, whose kids didn't go to school. And she said, I can do what I want. I'm going to go after them. Her office was famous for denying people the right, the ability, the how do I say this? The under Brady against Maryland, the right to argue that evidence was kept, was suppressed, evidence which was exculpatory in nature. All of this happened. And it was like nothing. She just nothing. It didn't make any difference. Nothing. Didn't make any difference. And she's the prosecutor. I don't understand. Nobody knows this because they're going to see her tonight. And I'm telling you, you're going to see smiles. You are going to feel this energy. And you're going to say, she's going to be there with Doug. She's there last night with this guy who lied again about IVF. Again. Lied again about his stolen vow. Well, technically. Again. He lies to you. He looks you right in the eye and says, I'm not going to correct anything. I'm doubling down. And then, okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter to people. Lying is like, well, what kind of lie? How deep was the lie? Nobody knows. This guy is really, but it doesn't matter. He's the vice president, whatever. So a lot of good things can happen. September the 10th. Labor Day is when things kick in. But then you got early voting. You got early voting. And early voting means ballots. And machines do, but ballots. And nobody's going to talk about that. Nobody. Try going on Fox News and saying, hey, listen, any of you folks care about voting? I'm not talking about machines. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about machines. I'm talking about the ballots. We live in a world right now of trite phrases that mean absolutely nothing. Forward, joy, hope, joy. What is this? What are we, children? Yes. We have educational systems that are we have the dumbest people you have ever seen in your life. The dumbest people that you have ever seen in your life. You've got Democrats who double-cross Joe Biden and nobody cares. You've got a woman who never won a primary. She never won a primary. And then you got Nancy Pelosi, who's all over the place. Nancy Pelosi insisted in some TV interview that she wanted a, quote, open process to replace Biden at the top. But Harris, Kamala, took advantage of the opportunity. This is what she said. She said, quote, many of us who were concerned about the election wanted to have an open process. It was an open process. Anyone could have gotten in. Biden dropped out of the race in July after weeks of pressure from everybody. And he immediately endorsed Kamala. Now, Pelosi has denied playing any role in, forcing Biden to drop out. But she did say later on and admit that she worried about his campaign and was unimpressed with his political operation because he was brain dead. She also then told others and transmitted and relayed concerns she got from other Democrats to the White House about their campaigns being hurt by the struggles. I mean, it was bad. Kamala has seemingly, according to what they're saying, reinvigorated the party. See, at least that's what they're saying. They're telling you she's reinvigorated the party. And you're going to say, okay, maybe she has. Has she? But the way she snapped up the nomination despite having no primary votes cast in her name. Let me say this again. No primary votes ever in her name. To this party that proclaims as their mantle pro-democracy. Nancy says that Kamala had the endorsement of the president, and she politically astutely took advantage of it and shut down, quote, but won the nomination. But it wasn't just her. They wanted to do this. And she, of course, she threw her support into BP. But she's no fan. She also told someone recently that the DNC was different from the Democrats initially expected. She said the convention is, of course, a different one that was a vision 1 month ago. And it's one that is going to be enthusiastic of attended. She has they're looking and they're saying, whatever. This is like not communist. People love the word communist. They love this stuff. But if ever there's something that's kind of commie-like, as you would say, it's this. And don't be surprised if all of a sudden one day you hear this. The White House is sad to announce that President Biden didn't wake up today. He was surrounded by his friends. He had a little COVID. He kept it from people. Or he took a spill, whatever. And you know what people will say? Oh, well. They won't say a word. And I say to you, Nino Scalia, even the Republicans didn't say anything. The most incredible intellectual or the greatest firebrand in American juridical history, he dies in some weird Illuminati hunting lodge where green capes in the middle of, and they say nothing. They don't even bat an eye. They don't bat an eye. Nothing. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm frustrated, but I'm frustrated against a country that doesn't care about this. They just don't care about this. Folks, we're the only ones on here who are saying, wait a minute. You don't understand. And you got Victor Davis Hanson who's talking about the Peloponnesian Wars and the rise of syphilis or Sisyphus or whatever the hell he's talking about. And I think, isn't he brilliant? It's like, what good does this do? Hey, Vic, let's talk about now. What's going on now? What about now? Well, I don't know about now, but I'm great with Cicero and the Catalans. Thing. Dear God, what do you people need to realize we're on our own? We don't have a party. God bless Donald Trump. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter if this one endorses him or RFK or Musk. If you're not watching the ballots, it doesn't matter. And that's the first place these people are going to go for. This is it. Now, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Not even close. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Remember something. Always use your opponent's either strength or your opponent's what am I trying to say? Your opponent's weaknesses, whatever you want to call it. Use theirs accordingly. Use your opponent's weaknesses accordingly. That's the thing you have to remember. That's the thing. That's critical. If somebody's coming at you, if somebody is just barreling towards you, and it's a fight, and you're in a bar, and this guy's running right towards you, okay? What do you think you should do? Should you jump in front of him and meet this force? Or do you jump out of the way, use his momentum against him, push him into a wall? What do? You use whatever is thrown at you, and you use it accordingly. Do you hear what I'm saying? And the one thing that Americans have is that they have the attention span of a gnat. They forget. So just sit tight and say, enjoy it. As of Friday, it's going to be, okay. So the weekend's coming in. No, wait. You just had the coronation, the beatification, the apotheosis, this elevation. Don't you understand what we're seeing right now? This is Kamala. This is the greatest. Yeah, that's right. It's true. But what? What are you talking about? Don't you understand? They're going to forget everything. They're going to forget everything. And if you think people are going to run out and say, well, by God, I'm going to sign up right now. No. Same thing goes for Republicans too. No. They don't do anything. We don't do anything. We don't do anything. To Americans, none of this matters. To Americans, none of this matters. None of it. We love Trump, but a lot of people say, well, hey, wasn't that great? Did you see how he stood up after he was shot in the head with a rifle? And he said, fight, fight, fight. Yes. Do you think that somehow what? There was this rush of new voters? No. There are people who said, my God, it was fantastic. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Did he get a bump? Oh, they say he did. After the RNC, there he was. Oh my God, his granddaughter and Kid Rock and this and that and Hulk Hogan and he survived. Did he get a bump? I don't know. It's like it never happened. Think about this. This guy, he had a bullet take off part of his ear, right? This happened. He lived. And you had the Secret Service saying, and then the Secret Service head or whoever it was said, oh, absolutely. It really did. And then you had people come forward out of nowhere, and they said, yeah, well, maybe. Who was he? He says, well, there were people who were lamenting the fact that the guy had a terrible aim or that the president turned his head. I mean, they actually were lauding, they were laughing at and disappointed that he wasn't killed in front of everybody, even though somebody else had been killed. Americans are heartless. It's this scrum. It's this mentality. You put people together. They're the ones who yell jump. You see some poor soul on the side of a building and they yell jump. This is what they do. This is who we are. This is who we are. These are the things which you've got to take into account. So all of this is terrific, but good news. They're going to forget the whole thing. And then September the 10th comes, and that's the first debate. Now, remember, we also have to keep in mind, when do the early ballots go out? Who's counting them? Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to keep going back to the ballots, but I will because that's all that matters to me. The ballots are the most critical. The ballots. That's what's the most important. Who counts them? Where are they received? Are they any of the 7 states? Any of the 14 or 15 counties that matter? That's all I care about. Everything else is a waste of time. So put that aside. Then comes, okay, let's talk about momentum for those areas who might, and remember, there's a group of people that we've not talked about. And those are the people who are going to vote, the people who are registered to vote, the people who will show up and vote at the polls, the people who will fill out the ballots. But then there's a new group of people. And this is the group of people who've never voted before. Or people who are going to switch. Independents, undecided, or maybe Democrats who might be switching. Maybe Democrats who don't like what she's doing, her particular stand on Israel and the Middle East. There's a lot of people in this country, a lot of Democrats who are furious. Furious. Elon Omar and AOC. I told you this a long time ago. That's where I put all my money. I would spend more. I would support either. Well, at the old days, it was support AOC, but she's a politician. She knows she's too smart. She's going to go wherever they tell her to go. Elon Omar, you may hate her guts, but she's legit. She sticks to what she believes in. Those people are very dangerous. Either way. Bernie Sanders always stuck to his position, even though now let's face it, the guy's a socialist. He actually is a socialist, but in any event, he still maintained this thing. But these are the people. Now, so how did we go back to these people? How did we get these folks? What do you think is going to get someone who all of a sudden says, you know what, I wasn't really going to vote? It's somebody who most probably, I think, is believe it or not, somebody is going to be, I put all my money on social media. Absolutely. TikTok, YouTube, or whatever it is, Telegram. But that's where I put it. Everything else is tried and true. It's over. And I told you this the other day, and I'm going to say it again. And I know that a lot of people don't listen to me because they don't really care. Well, they think I'm being rather trite, but I'm not. The goal of the president should be specifically on the night of the election or the night of the debate, to give them something they've never seen before, to inspire a new group of people, not who are politically mature, politically astute, issue-oriented, no, but somebody who wants to see somebody kick somebody's arse, and somebody who says, wow, holy moly, did you see that debate? That's it. She won't know what to do. She's expecting, they think they can guss her up and dial her up, and she won't be able to handle it. This is his chance. It's the only debate they're going to have. She's never won a primary. She's not even spoken to the press. She's this little porcelain. She's like a hologram. I guess she's alive. I guess. But there she is. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. Standing right in front of you. Right in front of you. And I'm telling you that if you play this the right way, and if Trump comes out on September the 10th and just destroys her, so that the goal is, I'm going to say it one more time, so that everybody says, did you see that? It's going to be the talk, because that's where we are today. That's our junk food. That's our low-hanging fruit. That's what we want. We think in shorts, in snippets, in reels, in 18 seconds, in 5 seconds, in 1 minute. That's all we think about. Somebody will take it and put it to to music, and it has a new life, a new bearing, a new soul. When it becomes part of the culture, it takes on a momentum the likes of which you've never seen before. That's what's critical. You can talk about the issues all you want. You need something to go in. And J.D. Vance, nobody cares about the vice president. Sorry. That's it. And then you get into October surprises, and then you get something bad that happens. And remember, if something bad happens, if something around the world, some event that requires a commander-in-chief, and she's standing there, or you look at her, you'll say, no way. No way. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know I hope it's nothing, because that means something bad's happened. That probably means lives are at stake. And I don't want to do anything to precipitate that, or to glorify But the second thing is to have people look at her and look at Trump. Remember the expression, who's your daddy? Who's the adult here? This one or that? Let her do some word salad. Right now, as we speak, there's some talk about Iran is ready to explode. Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see. I would love to see, not because of any kind of war, but I'd love to see the Democratic Party just break apart. 2, 3, 4 factions realizing they're incompatible. You've got the Bibi, quote, AIPAC view. You've got the pro-Palestinian view. And then you have others who feel completely, totally disenfranchised. The Bernie bros, the folks who've Kamala Harris has never reached out to these people. Let me ask you something. Describe the person who was the Kamala Harris fan. It's a white woman, kind of a liberal, maybe college educated, whatever it is. They love her. How do you think black women respond to Kamala? Answer that question. How do you think black voters? You think black people, black voters, and black citizens can spot a phony? I do. You think they can tell with somebody who all of a sudden turns on that, this shucking and jiving and, collard greens, and hey, baby, all of a sudden out of nowhere? Obama did it the other day. I don't know why they do this. It's absolutely the most irritating, the most disingenuous, the most fraudulent way of looking. And they know this and they can see it a mile long because they have heard this their entire life. They have heard this. They have seen this. They know exactly what this is. They know exactly what we're talking about. That's all. So, my friends, think about this very, very carefully. And I want you to understand this. I want you to grasp this more than anything else. This is about an election first and foremost. An election that has either votes counted by machine or votes on a ballot or votes absentee or vote, whatever it is. It's this physical process itself. That's number one. Number two, if you don't keep an eye on that, if you don't pay attention to this, if you don't grasp the severity of the particular process, you're missing everything. You're wasting your time. Okay? You are wasting your time. There is a process. Next, number three, I hope that somebody along the way on your beloved Fox News, because I can't watch that. I just cannot. I can't. They are such an insult to me because they never talk about anything that matters. But nobody about them, nobody there is saying anything. And Lara Trump is supposedly co-chair. I don't know what she's doing. Next, it's going to be the debate. The debate is going to be, this is after the lag time. Oh, and watch the numbers. So I don't believe these. As of right now, Real Clear Politics, you can read them. Nothing's changed. They're the same. They're going to tell you inside and internal, so that's fine. Watch what happens. Remember this, my friends. Always say this. 7 states, 14, 15 counties. Freedom says, I thought Nancy was the worst. Harris makes Pelosi look like a saint. This is a very dangerous lady waiting to dismantle America into communism. It's not communism, but this may, how do I say this? I don't want to do this again. Please don't make me bring this up again. This is not communism. This is not communism. Andrew Hessing says, sorry people, but black people are the best. Picking out jive, bro, literally. Oh, I believe so. I believe so. And when they had Little John from, I'm thinking to myself, you sellout, you. Did they get to you? I'd rather see Dave Chappelle doing Little John. Because the people who really matter, Cat Williams, I'm holding out for Cat somewhere. I'm holding out for him. Cat, if you're listening, your country needs you. I'm hoping that he comes to the rescue, that he recognizes how we need him. Latinos, people who are trying desperately to become citizens legally. What about you? You have been absolutely, completely forgotten, dismantled. You have been literally removed from the equation. And gay people, do you see this one? I don't know who she was. She says, and you're going to take off my wedding wear from my cold gay face. Nobody cares. Being gay is so passe. Nobody cares about that. Why doesn't Kamala have any of her transgender folks taking the stage? Oh no. Oh, they love him at the White House. Oh no, no, no. Have the guy with the Porter, whatever his name is, a Cooper or whatever, the guy with the fingernails. And oh yeah, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. America doesn't dig that. You think she does too? And how about this guy? Look, spouses and kids, they're off. Leave them alone. It doesn't matter in the long run. Remember what I'm saying. Remember what Uncle Lenny said. Tonight's it. Tomorrow's going to be, okay, what are we doing for the weekend? It's going to be over with. They're going to pick up, clean, go home. Remember, every single one of those people who got into that convention center, every single one of them used an ID, a photo ID. If you don't have a photo ID, you don't get in. But yet, you can't vote. Or rules that we have regarding voting, no identification is possible because that's racist. Ryan says, no matter how great Trump is on policy, I can't get through to my mother. Like most women, Trump reminds them of madmen, old school misogynists. They're not voting rationally. Ryan, I thank you for that. Let me ask you a question. Ryan, is there anything I can do to get you to vote for Kamala? No. So you're the same way. There are people, your mother says, I've spoken to my son Ryan, and he won't. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he doesn't. He's got this Trump thing, and he won't listen to me, and he won't care about anything I say. And that's your mother's saying that about you, with all due respect to your beloved mother. I understand that. Listen, that's okay. I don't mind it. My job is not to change anybody's mind. My job is to warn you. Watch the votes. After the election, then we'll talk about who's better and all that. I'm talking about the vote. Remember, Uncle Lenny's telling you this. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Everything about who's right or who. How do we vote? How is this? Take me through this. Take me through. Let's see some folks say, here's how I would rig it. And tell me you've taken efforts to prevent that. That's all. If you've ever seen, like I've told you, SAG-AFTRA has these viewing CDs or DVDs. If you've ever taken a bar exam, oh, you won't believe the security. Oh my God. If I remember, one was you got to have a clear plastic bag. You have nothing. You can't have an electric watch. You got to wear a mechanical watch. You can't bring in a hoodie. If you have a pen, it's got to be no mechanical pens, pencils, just regular, old number 2s. I mean, they had these people going up and down the aisle, making sure but when it comes to voting, the voting, just show up. Don't worry about that. The black people can't have come on, you can't make them have a photo ID. Come on. Unless you want to get into the DNC. Oh, and those rings and rings of what do they call? Oh, yes, walls, gates, fences. No problem. The hypocrisy. Look, we know that. Okay? All right, dear friends. Make sure you stay tuned. Stay tuned to Lionel Nation. Can't say that enough to you. Did you see our boy the other night, Mike Lindell, without his mustache trying to get in? Let me tell you something about Mike Lindell and mypillow.com. He's been with us and we're with him. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, right there. mypillow.com/Lionel. You go there. You bring your credit card and you buy everything he's got and use promo code Lionel. Just do what I say. Everything he has, it's like this man is a genius. When it comes to luxuriation, nobody does like he. Plus, he's one of us. And we always stick together. You got that? It's very, very important. All right, dear friends. So listen, Ryan, thank you. Andrew Hessing, thank you, my friend. Freedom, you are magnificent. Kevin, Xander, and Bradley Opland, thank you, dear friends. Make sure you remain subscribed to Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal in case we open it up, because if I want to have something to say, I'm just going to do it because I'm going to keep going until we win. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. But don't forget, until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.